Hey everyone, it's Cal Jardy, founder of Fearless Transformation, where we help teams and organizations grow through training, coaching, and consulting. Today I'm going to be talking about teamwork. That's right, the one that makes the dream work, only when it works. So we work with many organizations who at times struggle with teamwork. As a result, they find themselves pointing fingers at each other, blaming each other, playing the game of tit for tat, looking at outside departments, what they're doing versus what we're doing here. Why so-and-so is doing this versus what is my job expectations are. And as a result, the supervisors and leaders are getting frustrated. They're having to micromanage and doing this vertical accountability where I need you, to do this job versus the horizontal accountability, which is I'm stepping into that role or that task so that I can grow. Also, employees find themselves they're frustrated because they're not clear on their job expectations. They have their wall up, their guard up. Am I being asked too much of me? Is that really my job? Is that part of my job? So with that, what happened is two things. One, as a leader, you will find yourself, your employee is coming to you, dropping their backpacks on you, a load of work on you, and you may find yourself, you're seeking their approval, you're seeking their praise. You get addicted to that praise because now you're the high performer. You are the go-to person to get that job done. And just like any high-performance machine, if you keep pedal to the metal, you're going to be risking burning out. Matter of fact, studies have shown that 2 out of 5 high performers are risking burning out, which means you're gonna, the symptoms for that, you're gonna find yourself getting stressed out. You will find that you get into insomnia, back pains, headaches, even substance abuse, which would lead to relationships breakdowns at home. So therefore, you want to be able to learn how to set boundaries, which we're going to be talking about here today. If you're an employee, you're going to find yourself doing some reverse delegation if your job expectations are not being clear. Reverse the delegation, which means you're going to, come back with what's being delegated to you and bring it back to your supervisor or your leader, and dropping your backpack on them is like, hey, I don't know how to do it. So whether it's a reverse delegation or whether it is workplace codependency, those two are cancerous for teamwork. Okay. On the other hand, we work with organizations who have set some boundaries around what the job expectations and what not. They have a clear job expectations with their supervisors, within each other on the team, and as a result, they learn how to say no to anything outside that is completely gonna throw them off. Okay, and they learn how to negotiate and communicate, and they use language such as I accept your request, or I will counter offer with such. And as a result, you find there's a place of harmony that's taking place in the workplace. And because of that, they're becoming high performers, stretching their goals, but they're not burning out. And they are more at peace at work. They enjoy coming to work. And that is symptoms of proper teamwork. So what is it that you want? You want to be a hero and be a know-it-all and a high performer and go-to person without setting boundaries and risking burning out? Or you want to be this goal stretcher. You stretch yourself to learn something new, to step into an accountability so that you can grow from it and be able to get the job done while you're at peace and harmony with everyone else. Talk about step number 1, which is first and foremost, you got to be able to set your priorities straight. Job expectations has to be clear. Whether you are a leader or an employee, both roles has to be very clear job expectations. So, leaders, make sure that to write down your daily and your job expectations. After you write them down, prioritize them from 1 to 5. 1 is very low priority, 5 is very high priority. Okay? Anything less than 3, I invite you to look at your team. Who could you delegate that task to so that they can learn it? Your teammate or your co-employee can learn it and grow from it, and take it off your plate so that you are able to, do your coaching and mentoring, that's your main priority, is to help your people grow, rather than be the go-to person and know it all and get the job done. Okay? Employees, you got to be able to sit down with your supervisors and have your job expectations clear on a piece of paper. Meaning, what are your job expectations? See, what happens most of the trap that we fall into in most organizations is they fall back into the job description. And you and I know that job description is a lousy document that the organization, the attorneys come up with it to protect the organization. It's not for the favor of the people that work for the organization, that make the organization. So therefore, I invite you to sit down with your leaders and have your job expectations clear on a pen and paper. Meaning, I got able to follow up with my client, twice a month. Okay. When I follow up with them within 48 hours, I need to be able to file that in or send a report. Something very specific like that. So transform everything in what you think that you know into a piece of paper where it has a timeline to it and it's very specific. And at the end, have signature between your boss and yourself. Now you have a clear path of what you're supposed to be doing and what are your priorities, so that when things are being dumped on you and it's outside of that, you'll be able to now have a conversation about it, okay, and be able to say no to outside of that. So set your priorities straight is step number one. Step number two, before we go into learn how to say no, is you got, every time there's a request, there are three things you can do. You can either accept the request, you can counter offer the request, or you can decline the request. So if what is asked of you is within your job expectation, you accept the request, no problem. Set a timeline to it. If if you already have a lot on your plate and your boss is asking you to do certain things, you can ask them, you can counter offer. I can do this and that, but what about this one? I already have this as I'm working on. Could you take that off my plate? Or could I extend the time that you give me, the deadline? Okay, now you can negotiate, you can counter offer, okay? And if it's outside your job expectations and your priorities, okay? Now you can learn how to say no, and then if it's needed to be done, you'll be able to offer alternatives. So here's how you can do this. Step number one, when you want to learn how to say no, is first you want to acknowledge the request. I totally appreciate that you come to me for this specific task, something along those lines. Or I understand the importance and the significance of having this job delivered by this date, okay? This is acknowledgement. What does that do is drop the guard, that you're not coming across as defensive, you're not coming across as insubordinate, you're not coming across as not a team player, okay? That's number one. Number two is you want to decline the request. Here's how you decline it. First, you want to transition into the decline. How you transition, you want to use a softening statement. A softening statement would be something like, under normal circumstances, or normally, or typically, one of those, or anything around those lines. So under normal circumstances, I have no problem taking that task on. Okay? However is the word that you want to use. This time around, unfortunately, I won't be able to do it. Okay? This is how you decline it. You use however, and then this time around, I won't be able to do it. Number three, depending on who you're communicating with, if it's your boss, you got to be able to let them know why. Because, you don't use the word because I have A, B, and C that I'm working on. Okay? Alternative, would you like me to postpone B and work on this one for now? Okay? Or if you're communicating with a coworker or a teammate, when you offer a reason for a teammate, you can keep it vague a little bit. It's okay to keep it vague a little bit because they don't need to know exactly what you're working on if they don't need to know what exactly they need to work on. It depending on who you're communicating with. Because at times we find it that if you are very specific when communicating with a coworker, now they want to get into your business and try to fix your life for you or fix your calendar for you. So you can keep it vague, like I have deadlines to meet. Unfortunately, I won't be able to help you with this. However, the alternative is I can share with you what I've done for this specific client in the last project, and you can model that report. Okay? Or I can provide you support. Or I can give you this website. You can look at it and you can watch this YouTube video and it will show you exactly step by step how to do it. So you want to be a team player by offering alternative how you can help your coworker get the job done. Whether you say no, whether you accept, or whether you counter offer, regardless of any of those three that happens, at the end you want to do a lockdown. A lockdown is you want to use an if-then statement. So, okay, great. So we agree that we're going to submit that report by next Wednesday. If Wednesday comes and I know this could happen, we get busy, and I don't have it in my inbox, what would you like me to do? Okay? If then. So that is a lockdown. You want to make sure that now you're creating that space for the other person to step into and hold themselves accountable, not you telling them, you know, you need to be accountable for this. That is the worst statement you can use with anyone on your team. You need to be held accountable for this, or you need to be accountable for this. You, that word you're pointing a finger, it automatically creates a pushback. So instead, create a space for them to step into, and they hold themselves accountable for it by stating something like, if Tuesday comes and we don't get that job done, or if it's not in my inbox, or if this report is not done, what would you like me to do? Okay? Now they tell you, oh, no, it will be done, no problem, okay? Or, on Monday morning, let's touch base on Monday morning and see where we are. Okay, now you are, they are telling you how to hold them accountable versus you are, pushing them into accountability. Accountability is a space to step into to grow. It's not a weapon against your teammate. Okay, it's very, very important. Accountability is a space to step into to learn and grow. It's not a weapon that you use against your coworker or a teammate. Okay, so my assignment to you is first, write down your high value priority tasks. That's number one. That's what you start with. And prioritize them from 1 to 5. 5 is highest priority and 1 is the least priority, or either one, it doesn't matter, but just prioritize them. And communicate with your leader. And leaders communicate with your coworkers so that you can sit down and you see what the priorities are and have an agreement of what the job expectations are, and now you can have clarity to know what needs to be focused on and what not so much to be focused on. All right, that's step number 1. Okay, now regarding how to say no, especially for you, those of you who are high S's in this profile, many times you tend to say yes, but you really mean to say no because you're all about the team. You are risking burning out. Okay, don't be a hero. Okay, make sure to honor yourself and learn how to set boundaries. Okay, because the worst thing you can have is burning out, and burning out it's not going to be conducive to you. Most importantly, to your team, to your organization, and the end client, okay? Your people who you serve. It's not conducive. So it's make sure that, to set these boundaries straight. So hope that served you. Please share as you like, comment. Love to hear about how these tools are working for you or not working for you so that I can, help you in future videos, or we can jump on a quick call and see how we can be able to coach you through it. Until then, be fearless and always be growing. Cheers.